Guys, you're about to learn how to play what you just heard. And I actually just wrote this just for you. So real quick though, this is probably my favorite style of metal to play. And I'm going to just deem it along the lines of like melodic metal, anything that's melodic in nature, because that riff's very melodic. You'd find this type of riff in a lot of power metal. You'd also find this type of riff in a lot of symphonic metal, which is really the style of metal I lean towards playing more of these days. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to play it. Real quick though, my Patreon supporters, you guys have the tabs and of course the backing tracks. The backing tracks, two of them by the way, with just the bass and drums. So you can play along with it and kind of expand on it, which is what I want you to do. And of course you've got the full mix as well, so make sure you grab those. Guys, if you'd like to join my Patreon, basically what I do is I give you tabs and backing tracks for at least 2 of my lessons each month. So this is the first one of January 2023. There is a link in the description. Just scroll down when you get to the description and you can check that out. Now before we break this down, let me just play it out in the open for you, okay? Now, just a couple of notes. So number 1, and most of you already know this, but I am in standard tuning. Number 2, we are playing this in the key of F sharp minor. So if you were to play the full chord, right, of the key that we're playing in, it would be an F sharp minor. I know some of you might be thinking, well, we're just playing power chords. Why does it matter what key we're in? Well, the key that you're playing in will determine which notes and or power chords that you play, okay? Use that as a guide. That's not a rule. You can play chords and notes that don't necessarily fit in that key. And of course, when you get deeper into music theory, it's called this, that, or that, right? But normally, just the basics of playing within a certain key, in this case, F sharp minor, the other chords or notes, they're going to matter, okay? Because certain notes will fit into that key naturally. I hope that makes sense. And I've actually got another resource for you. I'll talk more about that at the end of the lesson here. Let's start out. We're playing the F sharp power chord, which is your first 2 strings, frets 2 and 4. We're going to play a variation of that though, okay? So we've got 2 and 4. We're also going to play 2 and 5. So just do this right here, okay? Just play the chords that I'm playing and watch my pinky finger here, okay? Watch, it's going to move. Okay, and all that is just an F sharp over a D, okay? Those are the notes that we're playing here, and it just gives it that really wicked sound. Now, some of you are probably asking, Jason, why are you using your pinky? Why don't you use your 3rd finger, your ring finger, and play it like this? You can play it like that. Understand something about guitar, and this goes for a lot of things in life. A lot of times there's not really a wrong or right way to do things like that when you can get the same result. There is only what works best for you and what feels more natural to you. Now, in theory, it makes sense to use right your ring finger. So if that feels more comfortable to you, and then just, you know, put that pinky down there. By all means, play it that way. Sometimes I play it that way. It just depends on where I'm at and I guess my mood. I don't know. A long time ago, though, I noticed I'm using my pinky. And that just felt more natural to me, maybe because it's not as much of a stretch on either part here. So anyway, I just wanted to make that little note. Always gravitate towards what feels most comfortable to you, not necessarily what so-and-so says or someone else. You know, that's why I rarely ever tell you guys, this is the way you have to do it, because that just doesn't work. You know, life and guitar was circumstantial, right? So anyway, I know I'm harping on this. I don't mean to harp on this, but go with what feels most comfortable and natural to you, especially if you've been playing for any amount of time. You're going to develop your own style, okay? And that's what I want for you. All right, let's move on with the lesson here. So we spent a lot of time on that. What we're also throwing in here are some really cool like gallops here, right? This is the culprit of this lesson here. So let me play this real quick. So I play the F sharp one time, okay, and then I'll do a gallop. Then I'll move my pinky up to that 5th fret, okay, and I'll hit that power chord, and then I'll go into galloping. Now, one note here, well, actually it's 2 notes. That's bad fun because I'm galloping both notes. Sometimes when I'm palm muting, when I'm galloping, I'll just hang on that one string. And other times I'll gallop both strings, okay? The reason I'm galloping both strings is because I want those notes. I want those notes to be heard. I don't want just this. I want this. Okay, and it gives it a little bit more meatier tone there, man. It just sounds like meatiest, like I'd like a hamburger right now, or 2. Lunch is coming up soon for me, so I better finish this video. In any case, that's what we're doing. And again, let's go through this one more time. I'm going to play this part really, really slow, okay? Next, the last half of this, we kind of go into that same thing, but we end with a little riff. The riff is pretty simple. We'll go over that, okay? But this is the second time around. I'm going to play it all the way through so you can hear it in context here, okay? Okay, again, this second part, we go into those power chords, the power chord, the F sharp, and the variation of that with the gallop, almost the same strategy, but we cut it off to go to that riff that we end with, okay? So, again, this is the second part. Follow me on that, okay? So there's only one gallop in there. Pretty simple, and I encourage you to play around with that a little bit. Like, what if you don't play exactly what I played? Hey, that's okay. That might take you off on a different journey, and you might end up playing something cooler and writing something cooler than what I'm playing. It might sound cooler to you, so hey, go for it if that's the case. So lastly, we have this little riff, okay? Okay, I'm gonna play this slow. So if you're kind of new at playing metal guitar, and I know for a lot of you that's going to be pretty simple, but break this up. I like to break everything up into kind of like micro chunks here, okay? What I'm doing is open E, 2nd fret, open E. Pretty easy, okay? Next, second part to this is going to be 4, 5, 4, then back to the open E. Put those two parts together, we have this. And then we just go back into the riff. Real quick, we touched on keys earlier and I told you I had a resource for you, so I want to just go over this. We're in the key of F sharp minor. You might again be thinking, well, why does it matter, you know, what key we're in? I'm just playing power chords here. Well, we also had a single note riff in there as well. And it's not that you can't go outside of what I'm about to show you. You can get some really killer, you know, different sounds and stuff like that. But the key that we're playing in, F sharp minor, let's just go through a basic F sharp minor scale, okay? Here we go. So we start out with that F sharp, okay? F sharp. We've got a G sharp. We've got an A. We've got a B. Okay, we've got a C sharp. We've got a D. We've got an E. And then our octave, okay, the higher octave, F sharp. And then that's kind of how your very basic scales, like your major and minor scales, work. You'll start on the note and end on that octave, and then the notes in between that, right, that kind of determines whether it's a major or minor. Now, there are many, many other scales, and you can dive deeper into that stuff. And hey, if that's something you want to do, I encourage that. Why not, right? Why not learn it? But the reason I wanted to point that out is if we're playing power chords, if we're writing a song, if you're writing something, okay, so we want to know which notes are within that key naturally. And again, doesn't mean we can't go outside of it. Sometimes you go outside of that key and come up with something really cool and unique, okay? And in fact, a lot of metal songs will do that, right? Kind of gives it that, especially black metal. Black metal's very good at that. They'll play these really cool riffs, and it's like, okay, you almost can't tell what key it's in because there's so much going on, but it just gives it this wicked and just really cool sound. The reason I pointed out those notes is those are the chords if you're playing power chords, and if you're playing riffs, right? You want to kind of base it on that. Again, you can go outside of that, but just if you were to base the power chords on that, we'd play this. I went for my whammy bar, but I don't have the whammy on here. I do that sometimes when I'm playing my telly live at my solo gigs. I'm like, crap, there's no whammy. Anyway, that's just a irrelevant side note. But in any case, you see where I'm going. So if we were to continue writing in the key of F sharp minor, okay, again, F sharp, we got a G sharp in there, we've got an A, B, we've got a C sharp, okay, we got a D, an E, and an F sharp, the octave. So So everything I played was within that key there, and you can do the same with your single notes. Okay, and that's just an example, so hopefully that made sense. I've got a video on our Metal Mastermind channel. You guys are watching my Jason Stallworth channel. Thank you, by the way. Hey, real quick, guys, if you like this video, if it was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But I also co-own Metal Mastermind. That is the platform, by the way, where I have all of my guitar courses. I co-own that with Ken Candelas. He's like the music theory master. So if you go to metalmastermind.com, you'll find all my courses, my guitar courses, and many others we have. Just my shameless pitch there, because hey, this is how I make my living, guys. But anyway, a lot of you have my courses, and thank you. But we have a video on the Metal Mastermind channel, and I'm explaining the circle of fifths in the most easiest in layman's terms I can possibly explain it. And the video is right here. If you guys want to go check that out on the Metal Mastermind channel, that's a great resource to learn more about keys and the notes and the chords that go naturally within that key. So definitely check that out. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel here. Until next time, you guys know what to do. Keep it metal.